Let's invite the chime to sing. Welcome, everybody. One of the most important things that we train, and certainly Shantideva was passionate about in training, was a disciplined way of putting the body. And so for our practice today, I would really encourage, rather than a restful posture, take a posture that feels solid and active, alert. Stay upright if you can. Sit nice and tall if you can. If you are in a place in your first person experience where this type of posture isn't available to you, trust your body. It knows what it needs, and let it have what it needs. If rest is what you need, please do rest. If you're not sure, then come into an active posture. Sit nice and tall. If you're sitting on a cushion, you can cross your legs, or you can elevate your hips on a couple of cushions. If you're in a chair, try to sit forward so you're not leaning all the way back. Pay attention to the spine so you're not putting the spine in any kind of discomfort. And then most importantly, bring your gaze to the level of the heart chakra, the energetic source in the body, and it coils and spirals. So just think of like a corkscrew. And it's in multiple directions. So it's the energy from the heart chakra is coming out the front of the body and the back of the body. So don't ignore this space in the center of your back, in between your shoulder blades. Lift the heart if you can, and to do so, you roll your shoulders back a little bit. You open up that space between your collarbones. The heart chakra is connected to your arms and your hands as well. So sometimes it helps to open the heart by elevating your arms. Maybe you want to elevate them into a V, just to give you a sense of that opening sensation. And then when you bring your arms down, bend the elbows and allow your hands to gently find rest on your thighs or knees, all the while keeping your shoulders back. And feel that chest, that heart area of the chest open and lifted. Strong back, soft belly. Protecting alertness, guarding alertness. Shantideva in this chapter is all about encouraging. In fact, he uses the word beseech in this section. He feels so strongly about our capacity to guard the mind that he begs us. I beseech you, I beg you, please, 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 whatever you do, watch your mind. Watch yourself watching your mind. Watch the watcher watching. I mean, you can go so many layers in terms of your capacity to bear witness, and his invitation is to do so, all as a way of saying you do not have to be run wild by this wild mind. You can train. You can add some discipline and some determination. You have more power than you may realize. And it's not an arrogant, egoic power. It is a benevolent power. It is the recognition that we are manifest of creation, and we are also co-creators to creation. And that is a powerful place to be. despite your shortcomings, despite your misgivings, despite your unskillful behavior and unethical conduct, and however you want to judge yourself, you are benevolent Buddha nature at your core being. And you have only ever been this since beginningless time. Can you extract that from that tiny little seed, from the core of your heart? Can you extract it and allow that to be nurtured, to be protected, to be cultivated, to radiate? We guard the mind and we train the mind and we tame the mind because the mind has this unbelievable power, unbelievable capacity to distort this Buddha nature, to inflate falsehoods, to tell stories repeatedly. So often, in fact, that the repeated stories feel like fact. I tell the story, I'm worthless, I'm of no value, I'm a terrible this, that, and the other thing. I say it so many times, I start to believe it, and then, worse, it becomes my identity. I make it who I am. And Shantideva is like, puh, not even close. What you doing, silly goose? You're Buddha nature. Tame that wild mind. That wild mind is going in all kinds of directions. What are you doing? Protect the mind. Guard your Buddha nature. And do this to understand your conditions of misery. Not just for yourself, not so you can be cool and oh so spiritual. Not so you rise above the messiness of being human, but so that you can hear with much greater clarity the call to care. And if you doubt that there is such a call, I can only say that you wouldn't be here if you didn't hear it. To come into the presence of the Dharma, this wisdom, is to sense something in our being that is asking us to look deeper, to feel deeper, to think deeper. And it comes down to our capacity to care for ourselves and, of course, by extension, for one another. It is a benevolent call, and it is the call of Buddha nature. But don't take my word for it. Let's hear what Shantideva has to say. Shantideva says, when mindfulness is maintained with the purpose of guarding the mind, alertness naturally arises. And even that which was lost will return. First, I should check to see how my mind is. And if I see it is polluted with negativity, what a great adjective. Polluted with negativity. I should remain unmoving, with a mind as impassive as wood. I'm going to pause here for a moment and just ask this question. for me, the last time my mind was polluted with negativity was maybe 10 minutes ago. Because I'm oh so spiritual, right? So, with this polluted negative mind, that happens all day, every day for me. It just does. What I'm training in and what I'm observing in my own mind is how not to be swept up in it, caught by it, governed by it. It's not about, for me anyway, it's not about not having any pollution in my mind. It's simply about, oh yeah, there it is. Okay, yeah, I see it. I see it cresting over the dawn of my mind. Like a ribbon of fog. There it is. And then I can just be with it. Observe it. I don't have to be governed by it. That's what Shantideva is saying, is as impassive as wood. I feel it, I observe it, but I'm not going to act on it. He writes, I should never look around out of distraction or for no purpose, but always with a resolute mind be mindful of my gaze. I'd like to insert a little Julia perspective here, and that is be careful of absolute language, always and never. So he's saying I should never look around. The cynic in me, the skeptic in me is like, what? Really? Never look around? Never get distracted? Never? No. How about no? How about I'm not going to do that? How about I'm just going to be aware of when I'm looking around, of when I'm distracted, and then bring myself back always. Not even, there it is. There it sneaks up on us, right? Come back as often as I can and maintain that mindful gaze. I'm distracted. Oh, I'm aware I'm distracted. I've looked away. Come back to a mindful gaze. And with training, the looking away and the getting distracted gets less. And the time in which I can observe my life more mindfully becomes much longer. From time to time, to relax my gaze, I should look around without distraction. And if someone appears in my field of vision, I should acknowledge them and greet them. To avoid dangers or accidents on the path, I should occasionally look in all directions and prevent my mind from becoming distracted by relying upon conscientiousness. I should practice in the same way whenever I go or return, understanding the need to behave like this. I should apply this practice in all situations. I should prepare for any activity by thinking, my body and mind must remain correctly composed, and from time to time check carefully to see what I'm actually doing and thinking. So a lot of what he's saying here for me lands a little bit like, duh, I'm going to walk around, I'm going to enjoy my day. Somebody comes along, and because I'm not governed by a fearful, suspicious mind, maybe the person coming toward me isn't an enemy, isn't somebody to be feared. It's somebody that I can say hello to. But I don't want to get so swept in that I lose my conscientiousness and I forget to follow my gut and pay attention to my surroundings, to be mindful. That's what he's referring to of being conscientious. Pay attention, but watch the mind. Ever watch the mind, its stories, the feelings that arise, and the thoughts that go along with them. Keep the gaze on the mind and keep a spirit of curiosity ever ready. He writes, with all my effort, I should regularly check that the unsubdued elephant of my mind has not broken free but remains bound to the great pillar of thinking about Dharma. Striving for concentration by whatever means, I should not let my mind wander for even a moment, but closely examine it by asking, how is my mind behaving? That's some serious training. And we can apply this training very specifically for the topic of recovery. Specifically with respect to craving. Because cravings are our memories. And they're related to thoughts, but they're also related to physiological sensations. They're related to emotions, wants, desires, stress responses. Cravings are not just a mere thought that we use to judge ourselves by. They are a great opportunity to look at a number of different conditions. So when a craving in the form of, this is really stressful and I could really use a drink, pops up. One way the untrained mind, that wild mind goes, is into full-on judgment. I can't believe I had this thought. Or fear, oh no, what's the matter? This is going to ruin all of my sobriety time. I'm not strong. I knew this was going to happen. Everyone was telling me that I wouldn't be able to do this, blah, 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 blah. Shantideva is saying, okay, the mind is about to look away and get distracted with that craving, with that thought, with that physiological feeling. And that's what happens as a human being. So let's just breathe that together. This is going to happen because I'm a human being. So slowly I can bring my gaze away from all of that and recenter it, refocus it right here at the level of the heart chakra. Maybe even put my hand on my heart and remind myself, I have incorruptible Buddha nature since beginningless time. I have a seed of benevolent power. I can train my mind. And more than that, I can fearlessly look at the conditions of this craving. I did have a stressful day, and it's not because I'm weak or I'm less than or I'm not a good worker at my job or whatever it is. It's because it's stressful. There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of demand. There's a lot of need, and I'm one person. My body has a memory of responding to that stressor using substances to calm down. And at one time, it was really effective and helpful. And I grieve that it's not anymore. I'm sad sometimes. But then I remember that these substances are not good for my body. They never have been, even though they were effective at numbing the stress, at alleviating some of the pressure. It also created a host of other physical problems and mind problems and even mental defilements. It didn't really help. So now I get to think about what are some other options that I can do, I can engage to address my stress. Oh my goodness, there are so many more options. I can go for a walk. I can go outside and take a deep breath. I can put on some music. I can listen to a meditation. I can close my eyes for 5 minutes and simply breathe. I can recite a mantra repeatedly as I breathe. Breathing in, may my mind and body feel at ease. Breathing out, may others feel at ease. I could pour myself a glass of water. I could open up a book. I could call a friend. So many options to address my stress, the conditions of my stress, so that I don't have to go and do a familiar, unskillful thing that reflects my craving. All of this is how we work with the mind in a gentle, curious, easygoing way. And I can tell my mind, this is hard. That is true. It is true. It is hard. The truth is, I've always been able to do hard things. There's an absolute. I can do hard things. I do them all the time. I can allow my mind to entertain. Cravings are nerve-wracking and unpleasant, and I don't like them. I can also tell my mind stepping in dog do is unpleasant and I don't like it. And I can do that too. And I'll clean off my shoe and time will go on and all of that unpleasantness feeling will go away because everything is impermanent. And I can breathe. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, may I be at peace and ease. Breathing in, I calm my body and train my mind. Keep my gaze concentrated. Breathing out, may others be at ease. I have to do this a lot and on any given day. That's why it's a practice, friends. So we'll end our practice with that. And I'll spare you all the announcements. You all know them all. They're on the chat. Friends, we honor our beloved dead best, our ancestors, the guardians, the protectors. We honor them by remaining, by learning to better live, by learning to sit with the conditions of our misery so that we can continue to be of benefit for as long as our time remains. It is a gift for this precious human life. Thank you so much for your beautiful practice, friends. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 10:30 a.m. Namaste.